he always says, like, you can't get too high, you can't get too low. You just kind of got to roll with it. There's going to be highs in the season. There's going to be lows in the season. There's going to be stuff that happens or doesn't happen. And, it's just, you just kind of got to roll with it. And like the season's too long to like really dwell off every play, every loss. It doesn't work. Like I had a really good start to the year. And then, kind of had some bumps in the road, and like, I like a lot of stuff just kind of came back and blew up in my face. And I like stuff that I had dealt with just, in the past, like all that kind of stuff just kind of blew up. And, I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping. So it's like, I'm going out there and I'm like playing, and I'm like, bro, like I can't move. Style changes. There's not like any like big one size fits all thing. And like something that works for me or you may not work for other people. And I think that's the biggest thing about like anxiety. And but like there's certain tools or whatever that you can have that help, but there's no like one specific, oh, if you do this, it's going to be gone forever. Like, nah, bro, that's not how this works. So it's just a process.
Our guest, Iowa Hawkeye, Patrick McCaffery.
Our host, Hunter Strait. Welcome to this week's episode of
what are you up to right now? So like team wise, what are you guys doing? Just kind of workouts? Are you guys doing practices and stuff right now, or what's the schedule looking like?
Yeah, so we did like 3 weeks of spring workouts. Like we got like 3 weeks off after the season, and then we got like 3 weeks of spring workouts. And so then like, because this week's dead week and next week is finals week, we're off. Like nothing's mandatory. I still went in like most like guys still go in every day. It's just we don't have like organized team stuff. Gotcha. So I was in there lifting and worked out today. And because we're supposed to study for finals and stuff, got to finish strong, man. But so
Senior
and
year,
then guys will go home when finals are over. I obviously live here, so I won't go anywhere. But so then so we'll just have like, I think it's like 4 weeks maybe or so, and then when we come back, we have our foreign trips. Once we come back, we won't leave again until off season. So it'll be a grind. Like Valencia, Paris. It'll be nice, bro. Like it'll be nice. I'm excited.
It's a trip.
It'll be nice.
So are you graduating this spring and then doing master stuff next year?
I don't even know if I'm gonna do that. I graduate in the spring. I don't really want to do a master's program. It's a lot of work, and I don't really know what I want to do with my life. So I'm just gonna kind of just take a couple other classes. But yeah, I get my degree in like 2 weeks.
That's what's up. What are you getting it in?
Sport management, like administration, stuff like that. It's cool, smooth.
That's cool. So right now, obviously, NBA playoffs going along. You've been watching much of that?
Oh, every day.
I love this time. This is my favorite time of the year. Like I'm a big NBA guy, and then obviously like due to obviously watch NBA, like the regular season's but like guys are posting, it's 82 games. Not every game's that important, but like when it's playoff time, everyone's fucking playing their hearts out. So like this is my shit. So like I guess obviously you'll probably watch as many games as you can, but like who are you really trying to watch? Like for like guys, I guess maybe you're trying to emulate your game after, or like just guys who you like watching in general.
Oh yeah, so I watch every Laker game. I love LeBron. I watch every Laker game. I watch we even watch like their preseason games, like all this kind of, because we have league pass at my house, like the one I live at in Iowa City. So it's just we watch every game. So we watch every Laker game.
I'll illegally stream a Laker game.
There we go.
Clicking every Reddit stream link just to find a Laker game.
There we go. Yeah, but so we got league pass. So I watch every Laker game. I love LeBron. That's like my favorite. That's my favorite player ever. Not I don't really play like him. Kind of, we're both wings, but I don't play like LeBron. I just have always loved LeBron my whole life. But like, I watch a lot of guys, man. Like I really like Mikal Bridges, like bigger guards, kind of like the way I see myself. Like I really like Mikal Bridges. The thing that's so special about him though is that he does it on both ends. He's a really good defender too. So I need to step my game up down there. But so it's like I like you take stuff from a lot of different guys. You know who I really like actually? The guy in the Lakers, Austin Reeves. I think he's so good, and I think he's so underrated.
That's what I'm saying. I love guys, obviously, like as a Division II guy. I just like guys who underdrafted dudes, guys who like obviously weren't coming in with a lot of praise. Who just kind of grinded it out. Like no one was expecting him to do anything, but yet he is doing his thing, and he's got like that confidence already. That's what's kind of like nice.
He's so nice. I love Austin Reeves.
I was not feeling good about this Laker roster, but I'm feeling pretty good, man.
They're playing really well right now. They're playing, and then obviously they got a big one tonight. But they're playing really well. They're fun to watch, man. Like AD is on another level. He just needs to be on the floor. He just needs to be on the floor. But like when he is, he's a top 5 player in the NBA.
And don't even get me started on AD. My thing is, like, for me, I'm just a big. At the end of the season, are you playing your best basketball? And they're playing their best basketball, and they're cruising right now, and just got all this adrenaline, got all this momentum. So I feel like they're doing.
Absolutely.
I do kind of want to go back to one thing though, the Mikal Bridges guy, because I don't think anybody could have expected his jump to what he's doing when he got traded to Brooklyn. I mean, he was obviously having a good year before he got traded, but like he's putting up like not even all-star, like all NBA type numbers. I don't know, like where do you think that kind of comes from? Do you think that's kind of just like a little chip, or like do you think he always just kind of had this? What's your thoughts on that?
I think he's always been like super nice. Like I thought he was always nice. It's just in Phoenix, like sometimes you just got to play a role, right? And like when you play with Devin Booker and Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton, you might have to fall back a little bit, and that's cool, right? Like he still showed flashes of like what he could do, right? Like he was still one of their more important players, like top 2 or 3 most important players, but like he wasn't, his usage rate I'm sure went through the moon since he's been in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But like he's fun to watch, man. He shows flashes, right? Like you could tell he's got some stuff to him, like in Phoenix. And I know the Sixers are regretting trading him, like on draft night. On draft night, they were regretting trading him, but like I've always thought he was super good. Like I've always really loved watching him play, and then in the playoffs, like he really was really getting after it. And of course, they lost to the Sixers, but like he was still cooking. I know the Sixers wish they had him.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, his thing always was. I knew he was always a dog because of his efficiency. Like he was still putting good numbers and like was crazy efficient. So like I knew that he could probably put up more shots with not as good efficiency. But yeah, it's been fun to watch. Last thing, kind of going with the NBA. So like you said, you don't really know what you want to do. So like is NBA's kind of in those thoughts? Oh, like pro, professional. What are you kind of thinking when it comes to basketball?
Yeah, man. Obviously, like every kid growing up wants to play in the NBA. Some people that dream's more real than others. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna be some like crazy high pick, but like I know if I can do some things that I'm capable of and play better this year, I'll give myself a good opportunity. I play in one of the best 2 leagues in college basketball. I would say the Big 12 probably has us edged out a little bit. They're unreal in basketball. So, but like probably the second best league in the country, if not the best. I do think we're very deep, our league. So I think, if I'm able to kind of come in and show what I'm able to do, I think, I have a chance and I'll put myself in good position to do it. But obviously, the goal is to just play professionally and play basketball as long as I can. Just kind of the goal for me. I don't really want to get a real job for a while. So I'm just going to try to continue to keep playing and make some money that way.
Me too, man. Me too. Believe me. So I kind of want to just get into your journey here. So just kind of starting off I hate kind of starting off with like a sour note, but just kind of get into you've been very open about your battle with cancer, your thyroid cancer when you were a kid. So just kind of like, can you just talk about just what this experience was like when you kind of found this out? Because obviously as a young kid, this can be like a scary, traumatic type of thing, and just like kind of how this affected you and your family.
Yeah, obviously it's a very serious thing, very serious word when you hear it. It's not something you ever want anybody that you're affiliated with to hear, but it's something you hear a lot. So, obviously it's really scary to, hear that. But, I was always super comfortable with the doctors and my family, and everybody put me in good position to, like that I was going to beat it, that I was going to be okay, and that it was just going to be like a little bump in the road. There's some stuff that I still like there's still crazy stuff that I had to do, people, different needles in my neck, like all at the same time. I'm wide awake looking right at it. It's wild, bro. And that stuff I'll never forget. And, it's something that like probably took a toll on me a little bit, but
you just kind of put under the rug and just keep pushing. No, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Which I, kind of starting to come to realize maybe wasn't the best thing to do about it. But like, it's just kind of how I always have operated, just kind of, all right, man, that happened, whatever, keep it pushing, like keep it moving. Just kind of, keep trying to be the best version of myself. But, I really leaned on my family. My mom was great. She always would ask me how I was doing for about like 4 years after. And every single day, like multiple times. And the amount of times I said, fine, like, fine, whatever, just leave me alone. Like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, sort of thing. And she finally kind of caught on and knew that that wasn't the way that she was going to get anything out of me. But, it's just, she's a mom, she cares. So, it's just like one of those things, man. It definitely had a very altering impact on my life, but I think I'm stronger for it. I'm greater for it. There's still physiological things that I have to deal with just on a daily basis, right? Like I got to take these specific pills. I don't always feel great. My body's just different than most of the people I probably play with, and that's just something I got to live with, and I will, and I have for this long, and I'm just gonna keep it pushing, man. Just kind of like how I always have. But yeah, definitely very traumatic and something that thought about a lot, but it's just like it's something I think I'm stronger for and I'm better for, and I'm just gonna move forward.
100%. Yeah, I like, obviously I'm from Cedar Rapids, so I'm around this area. So like I remember when this was going on, because this was going on, and then Flash, RP,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, but like all this was going on around at the same time, and I remember just kind of thinking, I talking with my mom too, just like, damn, like, because like as a kid you don't really think about death, you don't, because all you're thinking about is like, oh, I'm ready to grow, live, I want to get to high school, blah 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 blah. So like you don't really think about this. So like all it kind of happening like right before high school, it was just like definitely like an eye-opening experience, and obviously so happy you're okay. But like, yeah, that was a crazy time for sure.
Obviously, it's like with Austin too. It's like it happened with both of us at the same time, and you're like, it's like you started to feel like normal. Which the older I got, the more I was like, nah, bro, that's weird. Like it should never feel that way. I should never spend this much time in the hospital, whether it was for myself or for Austin. Like I should never be here this much. Like I still, every time I go in the hospital, my phone automatically connects to the Wi-Fi. Like all this kind of stuff. It's just like
Yeah.
it's just wild, bro. So like it's something that like I've grown from and I've learned a lot from, and definitely kind of helped me mature a little bit more. And those are very real feelings and stuff that you're dealing with at a young age, and it's real life stuff that you got to work through. So obviously, like there was never anything good that came from Austin's death. I'll never like that'll never be okay for me. Like that'll not. But it's just like it's just kind of something that you got to try to cope with and learn from and grow from. It's just it's just something that just it happened, and you just kind of gotta deal with it, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, so kind of just want to get into your high school basketball. So you came in obviously with a lot of hype going in. So with in Iowa, we don't get a lot of national attention most of the time. So like, but like when it comes to Iowa, it's a little bit of a bubble when it comes to basketball, and like everybody knows everybody. Everyone's kind of like, so everyone knew going up that you were just gonna, like, especially with West and how it was, like everyone knew what was happening. So just kind of like, what was this experience like coming into West, just a already dynasty, and just like trying to already prove yourself, make a name for yourself, and inevitably just kind of show that you can do what you do?
Yeah, it obviously took a toll, or it was a tricky situation, but I was really lucky, and I played with a lot of really good players and guys who were patient with me, because I came in, I was pretty athletic. I was about 6'5", but I only weighed about like 145, 150 pounds. Like I was, man, like I was little, and so like it was those guys are big, strong, physical, so it's something that I had to grow up quick and learn from. I've never really been a big guy on the basketball floor, so it was easy to kind of leave me out there. But it was the first time that I wasn't playing all the time, right? Like I came off the bench. It was the first time I ever came off the bench in my life, and like so I'm coming off the bench. I'm like not playing at the end of the game, doing all that kind of stuff. But I was okay with it because I knew that my time was going to eventually come, and I was learning from it. And also, I was like a 14, 15-year-old doe-eyed kid, didn't really know what was what. But I knew I had ability. Coach Bergman sat me down before the year and said that I was going to be the best player that ever played there. Like, so that gave me a lot of confidence moving forward. I knew he had confidence in me, even though he yells a lot. But he was great. He was great for me, and playing with those guys, that really helped me set a standard. Like it helped set the standard for me and just my career. That like it set a standard that like winning is the bar, and we're just going to keep winning. And like it set a standard of excellence. And and that's something that I still keep with me to this day. Losing happens, and I know we're gonna get into that later in this, but it's just kind of like like winning is the standard. We are better, and we need to execute, and we shouldn't lose any games we aren't supposed to lose, and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm forever grateful for Coach Bergman and that program for giving me the opportunity.
100%. Like that was something I always admired about you and like your guys' program for sure, was like I feel like he kind of ran it obviously as much as you can, like a college program at the high school level. Like that
Mhm.
was kind of like that's what I was kind of looking for and wasn't really getting there at Wash. We don't really need to get into that situation, but
We
that's
can leave that. We don't Wash doesn't need to catch
we can
great.
shout out Wash. Hope y'all are doing good. But like that's kind of what I got when I went to Ankeny Centennial. Obviously didn't get to go to state or any of that type of stuff, but like I got like that structure and kind of got ready and prepared for what it was going to be like to go to college. So like that was something I always admired about you guys, because I could just tell you guys were not only obviously athletically and just more skilled than a lot of teams, but like you guys were more prepared and had better systems and run better defenses and knew what we were going to be running before we even like called it out. So like it was definitely fun and shitty to play against you guys for sure.
Yeah, like bro, we'd have shoot arounds and all this kind of stuff, and it's like I don't know any other high school. I'm sure there's other high school teams that have shoot arounds, but we would have like shoot arounds, like going through all these specific stuff, and it's just yeah, nah, it was very very detail oriented, and definitely really prepared me for college. We had these long practices, like 3 hour practices, and it's just college usually isn't that long, but it definitely prepared me. And you play with other good players, right? So like it's not
Yeah.
like I'm like most high school kids that come into college, they were the man wherever they came from, and I was the last 2 years or so, but my first 2 years and even my third year a little bit, because we still have really good players around me.
Yeah.
You learn how to play with other good players, and I think that's something that's really important in college, because everybody's good. Like everybody you play with is going to be good, so you need to know like okay, like I'm not like if I don't come back down and shoot the ball every time, like how am I going to be effective? How am I going to be of use? Like what's going to keep me on the floor? So like I was able to learn that at West High, and played with a lot of Division I players, high level players, and it was a great experience, and I was super lucky to have such a good high school experience.
I gotta say, I do have a lot of respect for Berg because he had a lot of characters on that team.
Oh, dude, we were nuts. We had some crazy I had some crazy teammates.
You for sure did, dude. I mean, Wally, Devontae, your brother is psycho himself.
Yeah.
You guys had some characters on that team, man. Oh God, I love that. I would say, so kind of getting into, you were obviously a top 100 recruit, top 50 recruit, kind of all throughout high school, someone who was like nationally kind of notarized. And as someone from Iowa, I applaud you and thank you, because you put Iowa on the map as much as you can. We need as much exposure as we can, because we've got hoopers in the state, we've got good talent, and we just don't get as much exposure as we should. But I kind of just want to ask, like, what was that kind of experience like? Because obviously, like every hooper in Iowa grows up, they want to be like, a nationally like exposure guy. They want to get that recruiting, all that type of stuff. So like, go to all the camps. What was this like? And just like, any memorable stories from any of these camps or USA or anything like that?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to do a lot of really cool stuff in high school. Like I was able to go to all the Adidas Nations camps. I did all that stuff. I did like all the USA basketball stuff. Like I went to a mini camp. I went to 3-on-3. I played in Argentina. I was able to I got cut, but I tried out for U18s.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of good players in that tryout. But anyways, I got cut, and I was able to do a lot of stuff, man. So I'm grateful for it. It was a lot of fun. You obviously play against like I've played against like the last 4 number 1 picks, like and stuff like that, like just like crazy. Like played against Zion when Zion was like really like coming onto the scene, like he was
Yeah.
like crazy. And so it's like it was really great. And I was able to go through a lot of it with Joe Wee's camp, which was really cool. I would say
Yeah,
like I wouldn't take full credit for putting Iowa on the map, not even close. I put him
Joe,
and
AJ, DJ, like that, a
yeah,
bunch of guys,
DJ,
and a bunch of guys
all
before us, obviously. But I'm just saying, like,
yeah, I get what
definitely,
you're 100%. But so I would give those guys a lot of credit too. For like I was able to kick it with them. Never showed up to MBPA, so DJ just stayed in my room the whole
There we go.
time.
There we go.
But yeah, so it's just like I was able to go to MBPA twice. I did pretty much everything you could do as a high school basketball player, and I was super grateful for it. And obviously it's great. You get a lot of stuff. I still wear some of the stuff that I got at those camps. We get a lot of free stuff. It was a great experience. Play against a lot of really good players, and I was able to learn a lot and take a lot from that and bring it back to like my high school team in Iowa. So I was super grateful for it, and it's just was able to put Iowa in a better position. Now we got guys like guys like coming up now, like then hopefully they get more exposure because they know that Iowa's for real.
100%. Kind of going on the opposite of that. with being a national recruit, like, did you feel kind of that added pressure that you kind of had to perform or like excel to a certain like level, that type of thing that just kind of came with it, especially with social media and everything kind of coming up right at the same time as we're going through high school? Did you kind of feel that added pressure with it?
Absolutely, yeah. Because I was going to Iowa. I committed when I was young, so I was going to Iowa. Was ranked really high, so I knew like every game we played, whether it was like some like BS summer game and like I don't know, like Cedar Falls or Rock Island, like everybody was going to try to make a name off me, like whoever we played against. So it's like, like whenever I play, I had to come with it. Like, so I always had to be ready for all of that. Like, and if I was playing in a pickup game, whatever, like I always had to come with it. So, I knew that, and, it helped me, hold myself to a high standard. And, it was just this was something I always expected of myself. I always expected to play high level, like be a high level player. I wrote all these goals before I got to high school. I wanted to go to these nations. I wanted to play USA. I wanted to do all this, and I was able to accomplish a lot of those. So I was lucky enough to do that, and it was tricky coming back to Iowa and playing all those guys, but I held myself to a high standard, and for the most part, I was able to keep myself there and do a lot of excel to the point where I was able to prove that it wasn't a fluke and all of that kind of stuff. And was lucky. I had great teammates, great coaches, and I put a lot of work in myself moving forward, and it was just was able to keep it pushing and prove that I belonged at that high level.
1,000%. I was curious about this. So at least probably early on, there had to be other coaches that were hitting you up to try and see if you would come to their schools and stuff. Like, when did you tell them right away, like, like, when did you decide like Iowa was it? Was it just from when you were a kid, or kind of like when did that decision start?
When Connor got there.
Okay.
And I was really like, all right, I'm not going nowhere else. So it's like, if Connor had like went elsewhere, then I would have thought about it. Because we were so close at age and we're so close that I wanted to play with Connor. So that was kind of the deciding factor for me. But like a lot of coaches would like reach out to like my AAU coaches and all that kind of stuff, and they would always ask me. So nobody ever reached out to me directly. A couple coaches text me when like the whatever the June 1st or whatever the day is where they start texting. I got a couple texts that day, but I just kind of was like, hey, appreciate it. Probably just gonna go to Iowa, but I appreciate whatever. It would have taken like it would have taken like a really like it would have had to take like Duke or like somebody like that to really kind of. And I had like a lot of other Power Fives like reach out, whether it was to me or my AAU coach, but I just kind of like I was just like, yeah, nah. It just would have had to be like a really really high level thing. And for me to leave Iowa, it would have had to be a big offer against him. Now with NIL, maybe I would have thought about it more. But
100%, that's true. That is, yeah.
I was never going nowhere else.
Yeah, I'm with you though. If I get that Duke call, the next words I'm saying is I'm committing. That's especially with Coach K. That was during that time. Yeah, that was me.
Pretty there.
I was at Iowa. Just your time at Iowa. Coming in, you obviously had a lot of pressure. Again, being the coach's son, Connor's younger brother, all that type of stuff. Being a national recruit, that you were expected to come in, be a big performer, all that type of stuff. But you were coming in again to a team with a lot of great talent and all that stuff. So like, were you already ready to kind of accept that role, just being like, okay, I'm going to play my role? Or was it just, again, a little tough to kind of get that transition?
I had no idea what to expect. Like I came in, I was just like, I'm just gonna come in, I'm just gonna play every day, and then however that cracks out, it cracks out. Like it was just like I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna work hard, I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do. And obviously, I knew I was gonna be behind Joe. I knew that was like my position. He was gonna play. He's a year ahead of me, so he just came off like an all Big Ten freshman season. Like was obviously one of our best players. So I knew that I was gonna have to take a backseat to him, but it was cool. Like I love Joe. I was gonna learn from Joe, all that kind of stuff. But so I was just gonna come in and try to learn as much as I could and see if I could, get myself on the floor. And my freshman year, I ultimately had some like health stuff that happened, so I had to sit. But for the most part, yeah, that was just a learning year. Worked out a lot. Like was in a lot of practices, went on scout team, like was learning a lot, like learning so much different stuff. Like I wasn't super comfortable with our playbook. I was pretty comfortable, but like not as comfortable as I am right now, obviously. And so, it was easier for me to kind of take that year to sort of like, sit back and and like learn and watch and develop and like and see from a different perspective and like look at things a certain way and understand, like, all right, you come in at the end of the game, you got to execute late game, you got to execute end of half, like you got to be able to do those things, and you got to be able to buckle down, get a stop, get a rebound, all that kind of stuff. You got to know what defense we're in. You got to know what plays we're going to call. If I have to move from the 3 spot to the 2 spot or the 4 spot, I have to be able to do that on the fly. Like I can't dilly around with it. Like you got to be ready. And so, I wasn't super comfortable with all that yet. And so, and obviously the health stuff didn't help, but for the most part, it was a good year for me to kind of, come up and learn and just try to get better. And I did, and it helped me a lot.
Yeah, I remember my freshman year, we were going through preseason, and like, we just got Horner as our coach, so like he was coming in bringing in a new system, so everyone was kind of learning the system at the same time. Yeah, so I committed to the old coach, and but like, so Horner recruited me at North Dakota, but so I knew him already, but he didn't. Chris Foster, he's at Drury now, who's in our conference.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so but yeah, so I came in and like I was feeling good. Like towards the end of preseason, I felt like I was picking up our defense. Like I was doing good in the drills, and like we got into our first scrimmage, and like I like subbed in. I got down on defense and immediately just like fucking like blanked. Like
so fast.
Didn't know, like I like stopped like because like you have all these talking that you're supposed to do, like like, oh, I got gap, like, oh, I'm the help side, all this stuff, and like, oh, I got nail. I'm in the hole. I was just running around, back turn, just trying to follow my guy, getting burned. It was, that transition, like I thought I was ready for it for sure, but like I like got woken up quick to just how like the speed of the game was different, and just like I mean, like talent wise was there, but I just wasn't thinking the game. I was just kind of like running around and wasn't like really trying to find my spots or like think about how I was supposed to be helping anybody out, that type of thing. So like freshman year was definitely a developmental year for me as well. That was a rude,
as it is, like 5% of college basketball, maybe even more.
Yeah.
Like very few freshmen come in and just like get to it, and those guys were all lottery. Like it's 95% of college basketball freshmen were in the same boat as we were.
Yeah. So definitely I kind of want to get into this, just like the relationship with just father-son coaching player duo, just kind of like what that relationship's like, because as someone who grew up being coached by their mom, and just the battles that we had in the car, on the floor, in the hotel room, like all the behind the scenes stuff and on the scene stuff, like I know it can get tense at times, but also it can be just such a like special experience at the same time. So just what has that experience kind of been like being coached by your dad?
Yeah, it's unique. Obviously, like it's a different sort of situation, but I think he's good with it, and I'm good with it too. Like I don't just like abuse it because he's my father, and I can't, like, I'm not gonna do that. Like I want to be held to the same standard as everybody else. If I'm screwing up, I want to get yelled at too. Like I don't want to be treated any differently than anybody we have, and he would never treat me any differently than anybody we ever have. Yeah. So, and like, I'm not really the type of guy, like I'm not going to fight with him. I'm not going to argue with him. My older brother maybe is a little different, but I'm not going to do that. Like, that's just not really my vibe. That's not really how I am. Like, I'm not going to fight with him. So like I just, just listen to him. Like, all right, I might not agree. I won't vocalize it in the moment. Like, just like, all right, whatever. And then just kind of, if I don't agree, just kind of don't change anything. But for the most part, like I'm not gonna fight with them. Like I'm just gonna be like, all right, like whatever, and just kind of try to keep it pushed. But it's obviously unique, But he always tries to do a good job of separating it, like just from like coach and dad, like because obviously his father comes first always. So that's something that that our relationship has never changed. Like he's still gonna be my dad regardless of how basketball goes. I don't think we've got into it like maybe once since I've been here, like where it was like heated, like about basketball. For the most part, like it's been cool. Like I'm not gonna pick fights with him. He's not gonna pick fights with me. He's very reasonable with me, and I'm very honest with myself at the same time. Like I know I need to get better at certain things. I know I'm still not where I should be as a player. I'm not playing my best. So he's honest with me, and I'm honest with myself. So I think that's what makes it really easy. Like I'm never gonna like just think I deserve different things because it's if certain guys are playing better than me, go ahead, play them. I don't, it's just I get it. Like, I'm very real with myself. I'm very honest with myself. So, it's just kind of something that I've always been that way, and he's been good with me about it since I've been here, and it's been great playing for him. I couldn't imagine playing for anybody else. We've had some really cool moments, and we've done a lot of really special things since I've been here. So I'm grateful for it all.
Yeah, no, the hardest thing was for me was, and I can imagine for you as well, is like, just like, as someone who's, already super hard on themselves and like perfectionist at heart, we're already, when we make a mistake, like, we're already like we know we messed up, and like we know what we did. And then, like, just when you hear the parent, like, just automatically when I would hear the comment, even though it's coach, I would hear it's like the parent voice. So I just immediately just got like defensive, because I'm like, I know that. But that's always was my biggest thing, just kind of with that relationship. But obviously as I got older that changed. But I can just imagine, especially, with he can be fiery at times, just if you guys could maybe get into it. But I do kind of want to get into this season, because I remember, and I told this to many people, like to my friends, people around town, just because we had worked out, and we played pickup and stuff like throughout the summer, just here and there. I was like, dude, Patrick is nice. Like, dude, he is. So I always knew you were good, but I was just like, I felt like you needed to like get that, like, one-on-one game to really just take you to that like next step, and or just like, and add that just like knockdown three. And every time we played, dude, you would not miss a shot, and it was like, so I was like, dude, like, contested everything, like, open, didn't matter, like, you were making shots, like, making good moves, being efficient. And I was just like telling everyone, dude, like, he is, watch out, like, he's gonna have a year. I feel it, like, he's gonna have a year. You started off, I thought, really well, playing efficient, playing well. Just kind of want to get into this, like, what kind of happened there in that midpoint where you just kind of, like, we all go through slumps, but as someone who's kind of went through that like slump, just kind of want to hear it from you, just kind of what was going on mentally that kind of like got you to that point.
Yeah, I like kind of, first of all, I appreciate that from you. Obviously,
100%.
All love here always. So it's just like it like the thing is, and I think this is a misconception. Like, the year started off that way, right? Like I had 20 against Clemson, had 20 against Wisconsin, I scored 20 like 5 or 6 times, like was killing. Like I had a really good start to the year. And then, kind of had some bumps in the road, and like I like a lot of stuff just kind of came back and blew up in my face, and I like stuff that I had dealt with just in the past, like all that kind of stuff just kind of blew up. And I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping, so it's like I'm going out there and I'm like playing, and I'm like, bro, like I can't move, I can't run, I can't jump, like I'm not gonna be effective, like at this current moment in time, like, because I was just like, it's just, I got a lot going on up here, and it's just like, and then you start missing some shots, and you're like, damn, like, and it's like I just didn't feel like myself. Like, I didn't feel like I had the same juice, the same pop, the same swagger that I had earlier in the year. And like, we took a couple tough losses in that stretch, but like, I just like was sitting there, and I was like, was talking to Tristan, and your boy T Spur.
Tristan, man, that's my boy.
No, he's the man. So I'm sitting there, like, we're at halftime of the Penn State game, and I'm talking to Tristan, and he's like, you gotta do this. And I'm looking, I'm like, bro, like, I was like, I don't want to play. Like, I was like, I'm tired of this. Like, I'm tired of feeling like this. Like, I had felt like that for a while, but it really started to take its toll, like, about halfway through the year. Cause I've always, like, bro, I throw up before games. Like, I get really nervous and like all this kind of stuff. So I've done that like my whole life. And, like, I think it just finally had, but like my 8th year, I would say, of playing really highly competitive basketball, like, it finally took its toll. Like, I was just like, bro, like, fuck this. Like, I was like, I'm tired. Like, I just had lost kind of, like, because I've always worked really hard and like had this like really strong drive and commitment to, like, be really good. And like, I had lost that. Like, I didn't have that like at that current point. Like, I was just like, bro, like, I don't want to play. Like, I was like, I'm tired of feeling this way. Like, I was just really frustrated just with what was going on. Not on the court, right? Because it was like, because I was still like, I still played, like I was still, like, obviously,
yeah, it's all
like
off
what I
stuff.
on in like, I was just like, bro, I was frustrated, and and it kind of drove me away from basketball there for a second, and then it reflected in my play. And I think that's probably the best way I could articulate it, was that I was just so frustrated with how I felt that like it really put a wedge in there and made it difficult for me. So, like it's just tough, man. And so I obviously had to take some time away. And I think that was good for me. I was able to kind of, step back and look at it from different perspective and, get back to, working and trying to get better with just what I was doing for myself, trying to get back eating, get back sleeping. And I knew like once I came back, like not everything was going to be the same. It was obviously very different for me, like coming back, it's hard to just sit for 6 games in the middle of the year. And like, now I'm not starting, now I'm not doing all this kind of stuff. But like, it was just like I just wanted to win games. That's all I really cared about. When I came back, it was a little ego bruised at first. I was frustrated, like I wanted to play. I thought, because like I knew I wasn't ready physically, but I thought the only way that I was going to get ready is if I was just thrown in the fire and like really like And I think like it was maybe not the best way to go about like just throwing me in the fire. Maybe that wasn't the best way. Like it's hindsight's 2020, but it's just kind of something like that. So it was just a really tricky situation. It was hard to navigate, and but I'm glad I went through it. I learned a lot about myself through it, and now I'm ready to have another great year this year. But like you said, like just with my breakout year, it started out that way. Like that's kind of what I've been saying to everybody who asked me about it. It was just like it started that way, bro. Like when I went away, I was averaging like 13 a game, and that was only because I hadn't scored. Like I had scored like 3 points and 5 points in the last 2 games. Otherwise, it would have been closer to 15. And I was just like, it started that way.
Yeah.
So, I'm ready to go back with it.
No, I get it. So, I mean, just kind of going back with it. I just feel like people kind of don't realize a lot of times, not only like obviously the pressure that like we get from outside, obviously yours is at a bigger magnitude than like what the level I'm at, but like the pressure that we get from the outside, not only to perform well, but like, again, we love this shit and we want to do this. Like, this is what we like. This is what we build our whole life around. So like we want to perform well. We want to be the best that we can be. So when we're not doing that, like that does something to us. And just like I feel like people don't really understand that a lot of the times. Like I'm already beating myself up. Like I didn't sleep. Like I watched the whole game twice to like just beat myself up about it the night of the game. So I'm up at like 4 a.m. still watching the game. And then I got a class in the morning. And then I'm like, oh, I'm not eating. Dude, you can ask any of my teammates. I leave over half of my meal at like the pregame meal. I can't eat for nothing. I'm nervous as hell. My stomach's in knots. I'm not really talking to anybody. I got my AirPods in all day, especially back when I was like, kind of like during your year that you had this year, like when I just felt like I couldn't hide it anymore. And I just couldn't like, I felt like I was like kind of faking it for a while. Like I had this like kind of like identity of who I was. Like, I'm just kind of uplifting guy. I'm kind of goofy and just like kind of do my thing. And like, that's kind of like who I was. But like, I hadn't been feeling like that. And like, again, like you said, just like things from my past that I just hadn't dealt with were kind of creeping back up. And I just kept kind of pushing down, trying to avoid. And when things kind of, for me, I opposite, just not like just like play wise, but like I lost my spot, and I was playing well coming off the bench, and like I accepted that role, but then just kind of wasn't getting that like same love that I felt like I should be getting. And like we don't have to get into the specifics, but that year wasn't the best year just as a team wise, even though we were successful. But basketball's always been my escape, as I'm sure it is. Like with you, like when you're going through a tough time, like basketball's where you want to be. And like I just want to go shoot. I just want to go like kind of get it off my mind. And basketball is like an escape for us. Like with you, like going out there to hoop, like that's what you want to go do. But then when all you're getting is just negative, you're like, I don't want to be here. Like when this is your escape and you no longer want to be in your escape, you just kind of like, I got to this point where I was like, I don't even know what to do anymore. Like I don't want to be at basketball. I don't want to do anything else. Like, I'm just like in this place where like I don't like where I'm at. And like I got to a point where I was just like, okay, I can't just like keep dealing with this by myself anymore, like you were. But like as someone who couldn't, I probably should have done what you did and kind of taken a leave of absence. But like I was honestly scared and would have been kind of embarrassed, just like because like I just feel like people would have judged me. So like I honestly appreciate that as someone who's really struggled with my own mental health issues. Like I really, really appreciate kind of what you did for like kind of putting it on a map. Obviously, not everyone took it the right way and not everyone agreed with it or whatever, but like for people who do struggle, like it did mean a lot, and it was like empowering for us to kind of speak up and that type of thing. So definitely appreciate that.
Absolutely. It's just what you were just saying sounds like exactly like what I was going through. It's just like, you put everything into basketball and then it's not going well. There's stuff going on and you're like it just kind of all blew up in my face sort of thing. And I was just like tired. I was just frustrated. I was just ready. I was just done. Like I was just like,
Yeah.
man, like this doesn't feel like an escape anymore. Like I'm tired of putting myself out there knowing I'm not right. Like I'm not ready. And that's really what it was. I wasn't going to keep continuing to, put myself out there, like continue to just play, start, whatever, play a bunch of minutes when I knew I wasn't ready. Like that's not fair to myself. That's not fair to my teammates either. So, like I was just like, I'm not going to continue to do that. And, obviously it didn't have a great effect on the rest of the basketball season for just me personally, but, it had a great effect on how this next one's going to go and how I'm going to be just, kind of just in life moving forward. I was able to, confront some stuff and like do a lot of different, learn how to cope and, meditating, all that kind of stuff has been really helpful for me. But like you said, it's a real tricky situation. It's a slippery slope. And like you said, bro, not everybody's going to understand, but like, that don't matter because they just don't get it. Like, it's just, it is what it is. If you don't want to understand, just continue to be ignorant. And then like weird people behavior, bro. I don't people who don't understand this now, like with how prevalent it is in our society. I don't get it. People who say like crazy stuff. It's like, bro, like I'm not trying to hear it from you. Like just don't talk. Like I just don't want anything to do with people like that don't understand. So it's just kind of like something that I think people have grown a greater appreciation for, and that's awesome. I'm really happy that I'm in a society, in a world where that stuff is becoming a hot topic and is becoming stuff that's at the forefront of everything.
One thing I kind of wanted to get into, because this is something I distinctly remember as like that year was kind of going on. I was like sitting on the bench and I was watching people play, and I was like, I feel like I'm like, people that are out there, people on the other team who are like starting and, getting all these minutes. I was like, damn, like I know I'm better than them. And like, I was like, but like, am I? Cause I'm sitting like, cause I'm on the bench. I was like, am I as good as I really think I am? Like, have I, okay. And then you start getting all the doubts. You're like, damn, do I really even like love this anymore? Have I been doing this just because of this? Have I just been doing this because of that? And like, I felt like I really had to like kind of sit back and just like really ask myself, like, do I love basketball anymore? And like, or like, have I only been doing this for the wrong reasons type of a thing? And like, I really had to kind of be honest with myself. And like, I remember I was just like, I was sitting in the fucking Walmart parking lot in Kirksville, Missouri. I was sitting in like one of the back spots, and I was like really just like,
that's where I want to be.
Bro, I was down and out, and I was just like, man, like, because again, like I want to. Every time I go home, all anyone ever says to me, like, "Oh, how's basketball going? Oh, what are you doing now? What are you doing this?" That's all anyone ever knows me about. So that's all growing up. That's all I'm thinking. Oh, I'm a basketball. That's all I'm doing. So like, that was my identity. That's all I really kind of put myself as. So like, I kind of want to think. So like, as you are now kind of broadening your just like yourself and kind of opening your mind to just other things outside of basketball, like, what are you kind of trying to do to make yourself, obviously, basketball's still an important thing, but like making Patrick a more well-rounded person just outside of basketball?
Yeah, man, I think that's a good question because I think identity is something that's very, very prevalent. But it's a big thing, right? Like when everything, like, because like I go through the same stuff you do, like how's basketball, how's this, how's that, and like I know everybody, it all comes out of love and everybody's being nice.
No, everyone's being nice. It was just like I got other stuff. Like I got other stuff going on. Like I'm a person with stuff going on. So it's like you could ask just how I'm doing. It's that type of stuff. So it's like people kind of overlook that, I feel.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like, just kind of my personality, bro. Like, I tell a lot of jokes. Like, I'm funny. I'm kind of a clown. I say a lot of dumb stuff, like just clown people, all that kind of stuff. Like, and I just like have really bought into just like relationships with people around me, like with my friends and all that kind of stuff. Been doing a lot more just stuff with them, and just trying to not make make basketball the center of like every decision. Obviously, it's always going to be a huge part of my life. Cause I still I love basketball. Like I'm gonna coach basketball when I get older. Like I'm gonna still be very highly involved in basketball for the rest of my life. So I love it. It's just sometimes I wasn't getting the same thing out of competing and you know, playing it as I would have liked. But I think for the most part, it's just kind of something that, like, you know, you just sit there and you just, I don't know, like, it's just like I try to do other stuff, right? Like, and I do, and I have been better with it. It's still like a process. Like, I'm still learning how to, you know, grow and be more than just like a basketball player. It's tricky. I'm working with it, working on it with a lot of people. So, you know, it's just kind of something that I'm still dealing with every day. And there's more stuff that comes with it, right? Like, I play a lot of video games, hang out with my friends a lot. Like, I don't, not really a lot of other stuff that I like to do, but you know, I listen to music, listen to podcasts, do a lot of different stuff. So, you know, it's just kind of like something that like I deal with and I'll live with, and you know, it is what it is, and I'm just you know, it's just kind of it's a process for sure.
The reason that, you know, my channel's called Day by Day Studios, this thing's called The Climb, is because that's just kind of like what my mentality's been since then. Like, just what you're talking about, like, this whole thing's a process. Like, some days I wake up, I'm ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm ready to. Some days I wake up and I'm like, dude, I can't. Like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to do nothing. Like, I just, like, I'm in a mood. I can tell. And like, so like, I know, like, now I have like different techniques that I like can do to like kind of like get me out of that. Like, I have a routine that I kind of try to follow that like are different things that just like kind of give me that, you know, that I don't know, that dopamine that just gives me that, like, kind of like those good little things throughout the day, you know, those little achievements, like trying to like check things off. Cause my big thing is anxiety, and I get like, my mind never shuts off, and I'm always thinking, I'm always feel like I got to be doing something, doing this, doing that. And like, so like when I can check something off, that like feels good, and I feel like I accomplished something. So like, I know you deal with anxiety. What is stuff that you kind of do, you know, now on a daily basis to kind of help yourself, you know, when you're having an anxious day, or just like, you know, just to kind of help yourself get through the day better?
Yeah, routine is huge. Like I do the same thing every day, bro. I do the same thing. Like, I'm always, you know, go to the gym, I go home, go to class. Like, it's just I do the same thing. And you know, activity is something that's been big for me. Like, you know, working out is something I get a big release from. Like, I feel better after I work out. And then, you know, like I meditate. Like, Luca Garza was really big on that, and his dad Frank, so they really put me on to a lot of that different stuff. And so, you know, I do a lot of that. And then otherwise, bro, it's just like, it's never gonna be like complete. Like, it's not like you're up one day, you're just gonna wake up and it's never gonna come back. Like, it's not like that. Like, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
Like it's just how you cope with it and how you manage it every single day. And that's just kind of something I try every day to do the best of my ability. Sleep's really important. I try to go. I'm kind of a night owl, so so it's like, if I stay up late, like, I'm gonna try to sleep late, because I know that, like, I'm not good on like only like 3 or 4 hours of sleep. Like, I'm not operating that way. I used to when I was younger, but I can't do that no more. But you know, for the most part, bro, it's just like little things, like just like lifestyle changes. There's not like any like big one size fits all thing. And like, something that works for me or you may not work for other people. And I think that's the biggest thing about like anxiety. Like, but like, there's certain tools or whatever that you can have that help, but there's no like one specific, oh, if you do this, it's going to be gone forever. Like, nah, bro, that's not how this works. So it's just a process, man. And it's every single day you're going to feel a certain type of way and learn from it. And you just got to learn and grow from it.
Kind of as we start to kind of wrap things up here, I've really appreciated your time, honestly. I know it's kind of late. Me and you were talking about this earlier on in the week. There's like kind of a clip of Giannis that was kind of going around with like the idea of failure and stuff, and we were talking about this. But like, I guess I kind of wanted to ask you, how do you define failure, and like, do you believe it as like kind of like a self-made like kind of construct in a way?
Yeah, like, it's just kind of like, it's all about, you know, context and like kind of what you're doing. Like, I think failure is tricky, right? Because it's like, it's kind of like, I just have never liked, like, if you don't win the championship, you're a failure. And like I don't like that. Like, because like, there's guys who win championships who like,
Still feel like a failure.
exactly, because it's like, because I feel like, because you chase that, right? You chase that, you chase that, you chase that, and then you get there and you win, and you're like,
This
I
wasn't as much as I
feel
thought it
right.
was.
Like, you think
Yeah.
that you're gonna be some sort of supreme being because you won. Like, that's not really how it is. Like, it's more about like, it's about the everyday relationships, and it's about like, you know, all the like, just like all the in between stuff, right? Like, the practices, the games, and like the individual games, individual performances, all that kind of stuff. Like, we lost early in the tournament this year, but we still had a great year. Like, we still had a lot of really great moments, you know, with a lot of really cool stuff that happened. Like, we beat the Iowa State like at home. Like it was awesome. Like, and like we did a lot of really cool stuff. We beat Indiana twice. We won at Indiana. Not many people can go into a ball and win, and we did pretty easily. So, it's just kind of like, it's just like we have a lot of really great moments throughout the year. And then there's some lows too, but like you need to go through like stuff like that in order to appreciate, the highs and all that kind of, like, there's no, like, if you just won all the time, like it would suck, bro. Like you need to go through all of the varieties of feelings and, emotions and everything in between. You need to experience all of that, because that's the only way you're really going to continue to grow and get better. Losing is the only, you learn 100 times more from a loss than you do from a win, right? And because you really like take it personally after a loss, like whereas opposed if you win, it's like, oh, at least we still won, and you maybe don't think about it as much. But if you lost, like I still remember, bro, we lost to Wisconsin. I went under a ball screen on some kid that I didn't think was going to make it, and he made it. I think about that every day. Like, it's just like, and it's like one of those things where it's just kind of like, like, it is what it is. Like, you just kind of got to roll with it and you learn from it. And now I know, like, all right, like maybe I'll stop daring people to shoot stuff like that and just actually try to guard them. And like all that kind of stuff. So it's just like one of those things where it's like, it's just, you learn a lot from failure. I don't really have like a definition of failure, because I think it just all depends on the context and all depends on how it makes you feel. But like, I think Giannis said it like literally perfectly. Like, he was just like there's steps to success. Like, he's like, I've watched that clip like 15 times. Like, there's steps to it. It was such a great clip. Like, he's like, it's a process. Like, there's steps to it. And just because for Lou, like, it's just like it's about the whole body of work. Like, it's about everything. And I really appreciate my dad for that perspective, because he's been doing this for a long time, and he gets it, right? Like, he doesn't like obviously he gets upset if we lose, right? And he'll watch the film and get upset, but it's not like he doesn't like live or die with every loss, like, or every win. Like, it's like, he doesn't, like, that's not how he is. He always says, like, you can't get too high, you can't get too low. You just kind of got to roll with it. There's going to be highs in the season. There's going to be lows in the season. There's going to be stuff that happens or doesn't happen. And, it's just, you just kind of got to roll with it. And like, the season's too long to like really dwell off every play, every loss. It doesn't work that way. And you can't get too like full of yourself after a win, because just at the level we play at, you can lose to anybody. And it is like, you just kind of got to roll with it, bro. And that's kind of always been my mentality, especially ever since I got to college. So mainly these last like 3-4 years, it's just like, you just kind of got to keep it pushing. Like it is what it is. Like, I don't care how loud it is in the building, how many times they've scored. Like, we're gonna run. I'm just gonna sprint to my corner and do what I have to do on offense, and sprint back on deep and do all that kind of stuff. It's just kind of, you just kind of got to roll with it, and really, like, you can't get too caught up in specific moments, and it's easier said than done, right? But it's just kind of something that you have and in order to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I as someone who just their entire life, like, I really like, this is why I loved it so much, because like my opinion on it has changed. I've always been someone who's just basically been that like win or failure type of guy. Like, I up until about a couple years ago, thought my high school career was a failure type of thing, because we didn't get to state. I didn't win a state championship. I didn't do all this and that. I didn't do all the things I wanted to do. Same thing with the college. Like, oh, I didn't do this. I didn't want to do that. Like, I thought of it kind of like, even though I still did good things, our team were great. Like, I still thought of it like, oh, like, I thought I failed because I didn't do the things that I thought that, well, the things that I wanted to do. So like, I just felt like this level of like, I didn't reach what I wanted to do. But now I've kind of like really, again, like, that obviously didn't like change my opinion on it, but like my opinion's been changed. But like, that thought of just like, it's just a day by day process, and like, you got to really appreciate the little things, because that's no way to live life. Like, as I saw and as I experienced, like, living like that is awful. Like, just
You're
like,
gonna fail.
dude, like, just dwelling on every little mistake and every little thing that you do, every missed shot, every little thing. Like, it's not a way to live life. So like, being able to like, kind of like structure your opinion on that kind of concept is like, I think, a great lesson, especially for kids who like, are ultra competitive growing up, especially in a social media world. Like, they need to learn how to be able to, have confidence in themselves outside of just, what they put out to the world on social media, that type of thing.
Exactly. Comparison's the thief of joy, man. That's the biggest thing about social. Comparison's the thief of joy. Just, you got to run your own race, and everybody's process is different, and everybody's life is different, and that's what makes it all. So makes it all great. But it's just, you know, you just gotta, it's a process, man. I know that sounds cliche, that sounds corny, but it's real, bro. It's just kind of the way it is. It's how everybody's got to operate. It's day by day.
It is day by day, man. I mean, you couldn't have said it any better. I can't thank you enough for joining me, man. I know I went a little longer, but I do appreciate your time. Do you have anything that you maybe want to plug or anything like that? Well, I got you.
Nah, bro, we're good. We're good. This is your show, man. This is your show.
Hey, appreciate you, man.
Just hit me.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, everyone, I'm gonna leave his socials, all his stuff down below, so everyone go, check him out, show him some support, stop all the hate, all that stuff. So yeah, again, I just want to thank you. Good luck with everything. I'm sure I'll be seeing you this summer. Hopefully, be seeing you and playing with you this summer. So, good luck with everything. Stay in touch.
For sure. All right, Hunt.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
Sure. Deuces.